This is a college education unlike any other. Here, every task, every moment of every day is designed to achieve a single goal: the transformation of young men and women into leaders. To train them, an academy provides an education that is far more comprehensive than any civilian college.
We train mentally, physically, and we train morally, ethically to develop leaders of character for the armed forces. And that is well beyond simple education.
It's a process called training the whole person, and one part of it is a major emphasis on physical fitness.
The Army is a very physical environment, and as the ground forces in the Army, we have got to be fit to fight, and as the future leaders of the Army, they have to lead from the front.
Every cadet and midshipman is required to pass a physical fitness test every 6 months.
It's a big deal for everybody, especially for the seniors, the first class, because if they don't pass this, then I don't think they're allowed to graduate. Like, they have to keep doing it until they pass it.
The fitness test consists of 5 events. Each event has a minimum score that every cadet has to meet or exceed. In addition, they must achieve an overall score of at least 250 points. A score of 300 is considered average.
1, 2, go. 1.
All the way down.
All the way down. 3, 4.
Watch the way down. All the way down.
Come on, 3 more.
Nice down there.
Come on, Seth. 2 more for the match. Come on. 20. 1 more.
Come on, Seth. Good up, Seth.
Good
Come on,
job.
Seth.
Good job.
Did I get it?
Yeah. He maxed this one.
I think if all goes as planned, I'll max the next 2 and take it easy on the run.
77, 78, 76, 79, 77. Okay, you got 11 more.
Oh, yeah, great. 4, 55, that one. You're working 7, 48, 79. I know you can do 10 more. Okay.
Runners set, go!
I'm better now. Better get the score quick.
4:36.
Sweet. Awesome. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted.
Some required fitness tests are unique to each academy. At Navy, midshipmen are required to pass what is called the 40-year swim.
They call it 40-year swim because it seems like it takes forever. They've got to swim for at least 40 minutes and at least 1,000 meters in that 40-minute time frame. They can't stop. They can't stop to tread water. They can't touch the walls.
They must also make the swim in uniform.
In real life, as a naval officer, many will be someday forced to jump off a ship. If, in fact, they fall overboard or whatever, they can certainly survive.
You're over halfway, guys. You're all right. Look up. Step off.
As part of their survival swimming class, West Point cadets must make a 6-meter tower jump.
You've got people that come here as non-swimmers, and they have to overcome that.
Look up. Big breath. Hold it. Step off.
The 6-meter tower entry is probably the one skill in survival swimming we hear about the most, because if somebody's not going to jump off a height, that's the height.
Here we go. Look up. Step off.
For some, it's easy.
Here we go.
For others, it's a matter of facing their fears and overcoming them. Twice a year, West Point cadets are also required to complete the notorious indoor obstacle course.
The indoor obstacle course test is probably the most grueling physical fitness test in the country. It's one that the cadets, I say they love to hate it.
The course consists of 11 obstacles and takes on average 2.5 to 4 minutes to complete. The record is 1:51.
At most civilian colleges and universities, they've drastically cut their physical education requirements. Here, we have over 180 hours over the 4 years.
Over here. Skipper, down on the deck.
The Coast Guard is the only one that can arrest somebody. In other words, if a Navy ship intercepts drug runners, they can't arrest anybody. There has to be a Coast Guard officer or I make the arrest.
Skipper, bend over, stick your arms out and back.
Today we did some testing on speed handcuffing. It's not as easy as it looks on TV. Classes like this is good because it's reminding you that this is what you're going to be doing someday.
Cadets and midshipmen also face a considerable academic challenge. This is one of the best undergraduate educations available anywhere, and it's by no means easy. Most take 5 or 6 courses each semester, including a heavy load of required science and engineering.
The displacement of C is equal to theta of the wheel times the position.
There are no easy courses. There's no bowling, there's no basket weaving, there's nothing like that. I think that's part of what makes it tough is that you can't pick and choose 3/4 of what you're getting.
Then the question is where does this coefficient come from? Okay, and it turns out this coefficient is only a function of the angle of attack, Reynolds number, and another one that we haven't talked about yet, Mach number. There's a lot of people with not so great math skills, better in humanities, and so they're having a hard time with this course. Okay, does that make sense? Speak up if it doesn't.
Our academic requirements are slightly higher than a civilian institution. At a civilian institution, you would find that people would graduate, half of them, or maybe more, would take 5 years and some 6 years. We graduate all our students in 4 years. It is quite an intense program.
Yeah, I think we still should separate.
Because of the heavy emphasis on science, everyone graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree. But the academies are by no means just engineering schools. They also require a solid grounding in the social sciences and the humanities.
And when you've got a guy like Mohammed who spent his life studying books, cultural...
People say, you know, it's an engineering school. Why are you doing English? I can't think of a war on the top of my head that was not begun because of a miscommunication problem. And if we are producing leaders that are all engineers, computer technicians, designers, what are we going to do in the future when we need people who are adept in the skills of writing and speaking and reading and interpreting and understanding?
Everyone is required to maintain a 2.0 average, and many soon discover that that is no small accomplishment.
This is the Olympics of academics. Students that were the best in their high school class will come here, but they will compete against others who were best in their high school class.
I would have to say mentally this year is a lot tougher. You don't have people getting up in your faces and yelling at you, but you do have the rigors of, you know, the classroom. I think the only class I seriously studied for in high school was probably calculus. And when we got here for my first calculus class, we covered my whole high school calculus class in about a month. I didn't get the part where you went from...
One advantage that academies have over most civilian colleges is that classes are small and instructors are readily available to help outside the classroom.
We were trying to solve a system, if I remember correctly,
My fourth class year, I thought that I could get through academics like I did in high school. It was kind of deceiving. I got a 1.7 my first semester. I felt like I was a failure. I was feared that they were going to kick me out because of low grades.
Ma'am, I was wondering if you could help me with some of the stuff we went over in class today. I didn't totally understand it.
Luckily, the teachers are very, very dedicated to our learning, and they're more than happy to spend 5 hours of their evening sitting down and explaining every single aspect of what you don't understand. I think it was the people that really took the time out of their schedule to help me that saved me.
This program is brought to you in part by IBM, Lotus, the makers of superhuman software.
Tell you, but we're looking at a negative sales trend coupled with high overhead. Frankly, I'm worried about capital preservation. Let me put it this way. Look, we're just not meeting our goals. Tell you what, give me more eggs, I'll give you more corn. Otherwise, we may have to diversify.
Sometimes it's not just what you say, but how you say it. Kinko's, express yourself.
When he disappeared, he was a scientist. When they found him, he was a killer.
He was a dangerous psychotic.
Now, one psychiatrist must uncover what he knows.
Why does this all end in murder?
There were many murders. And what has changed him forever.
I learned more than anyone's ever learned.
Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins. Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr.
Have I made your day?
Instinct. Rated R. Starts Friday, June 4th.
We can help you see things from every angle, because the fresher the thinking, the fresher the cheese. Ernst & Young, from thought to finish.
A lot of people think the best way to deal with allergies is to take a prescription, a common misconception. You see, the leading allergy prescription only relieves these symptoms, but Tylenol Allergy Sinus relieves all these. Tylenol Allergy Sinus. Take comfort in our strength.
You're watching the Discovery Channel. Explore your world. Every weeknight, you're going on the inside, and nobody takes you there like the Discovery Channel. Tomorrow, they're on the hunt for big-time contraband.
Smugglers have gotten real innovative the past few years.
Find out how they track it down, and you won't believe what they find.
It took us 3 days to count all of the money.
A world premiere episode on the inside of U.S. Customs. Tomorrow at 8 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I was hosting my first big business dinner, and I paid with my Visa card. Turns out I was over my limit. I was so embarrassed, I didn't know what to do. So I got the American Express card, and it never happened again.
Call 1-800-THE-CARD. We can take your application right over the phone.
Applying for the card was one of the easiest things I've ever done, and smartest. And anyone who's ever gone anywhere knows it. I have a place to cash checks, get my mail, and get help when I need it.
My dad said the minute you get a job, get an American Express card. He said, trust me on this one. I've gone everywhere with it. And here's a tip. Sign up for membership rewards, and everything you charge on the card will earn you program points, so you can keep on traveling.
So call now for the American Express card. You can apply right over the phone.
It helped not having a preset limit.
It's great getting points every time you use the card.
I can call 24 hours a day. That helps.
No matter what you do or where you go, the American Express card can help you do more.
Midshipmen and cadets also shoulder military duties. The entire student body is organized as a military unit, and over their 4 years, everyone is assigned numerous positions of leadership within this chain of command.
We know that one of the things we must do here is give the young folks leadership opportunities. We only get 4 years to go through what we think is a leadership laboratory. Certainly, at the minute that you finish your first year at the academy and you become an upperclassman, you are giving leadership responsibility to bring the next class along.
What is this mirror? That's disgusting.
Crozier, did you bother to clean your mirror this morning?
No, ma'am. Oh, it shows.
What are you trying to do, grow flowers on my deck? Sir, no, sir! Then why are you dripping water all over?
Every Academy graduate will serve at least 5 years as an officer in the armed forces.
We hire every graduate. Because we do that, we have to make sure that when we commission a young man or woman in the Navy or Marine Corps, that they are ready to go.
Your tape off?
Yes, sir.
Need to do a better job?
Yes, sir.
At Navy, each squad of 8 to 10 midshipmen is overseen by a squad leader.
One of the best ways to teach somebody how to lead is to give them responsibility and stand back and watch them apply what they've learned.
Hey, Paul, come here. Is this your closet? See these? They all need to be folded the same way. My job is essentially to look out for the other 8 members of my squad, and I'm responsible for their development and making sure that they do everything they need to do each day. Oh, that was a horrible shower. Dust. Dust. What's that measurement supposed to be, Bo? 6 inches, sir. Does it look like 6 inches? No, sir. They don't always see the reasoning behind that. They think it's just kind of harassment or silly little things we make them do. But the longer you're here, the more you start to realize that all of that leads to a certain attention to detail that you'll need when you get out into the fleet. Sir, first class shower, request permission to come aboard.
Yeah, Mr. Shadle, come on in.
The squad leader's performance is overseen by an officer assigned to each company.
What are your plans for the midshipmen in your squad that are having academic difficulty? I am ultimately responsible for everything that goes on in the company. However, I delegate everything to the midshipmen. That is the only way that they're going to learn how to lead, how to plan. The midshipmen, they run the company. I tell them that from day one. This is your company. During their first class or senior year, they may command an entire company of over 100 cadets.
This is learning how to lead over a 4-year period. It is a very, very important process that we take these young people through, and it's logical, and it is designed to afford them the opportunity to learn, to be mentored, to make mistakes, and to hone their leadership skills.
Officers, draw. Sabers. I really want to be an officer for the soldiers. I want to be, not for myself, not to wear ribbons or the uniform, but go out there and make a difference in the Army.
Commanders, take charge of our units to march to the mess hall.
By the time they graduate, they are able to actually be responsible for the lives of men and women in whatever situation we put them in.
At the top of the chain of command is a brigade staff that oversees nearly every cadet program outside the classroom.
Times that this week we can make it, we could push it off.
Cadets are responsible for a vast majority of things that go on around here.
At the minimum, these guys need to be counseled by the chain of command, because this is not the thing that we need to see happen, especially not the superintendent.
The academy gives you 100 more things than you're capable of doing, and you find ways to stretch yourself. The biggest thing I think I've learned so far about leadership this year has been that I need to rely on my peers. I need to rely on the people with whom I work on a day-to-day basis.
I don't know of any institution that could have
strengthened my belief in my leadership abilities or helped me to become a better leader, and also given me the maturity that I need to become a successful citizen in America.
But perhaps the most intense leadership experience happens during the summer.
X-ray 1, what side is your starboard side? Right side, sir.
What's your left side called?
Port side, ma'am. You all know what eyes in the boat means, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, now, let's start practicing it. Y'all have different
The job of training the incoming freshman class, swabs as they're known at Coast Guard, is assigned to a select group of juniors or second-class cadets called cadre.
I have 29 swabs under me directly. It's very weird being on the other side because it seems so short of a time that I was back here doing the same thing, really.
A count-off goes very fast. If count-offs do not go very fast, we'll keep doing it until they do go very fast.
The cadre that were here during my swab summer made a lasting impression. I thought their training is what got me through the 4th class year. And I just knew from the get-go that I wanted to be one of the people that made a lasting impression on the new 4th class.
Is that understood, X-ray 1? Yes, sir. What platoon is this? X-ray 1, sir. Which platoon's gonna take drill? X-ray 1, sir. What's the best platoon? X-ray 1, sir. Sure about that? Yes, sir.
And they're learning just like the swabs are. They're just learning different lessons. They learn that leadership is a lot more than just yelling and screaming or doing push-ups. And gosh, I have to take care of these people and I have to look out for their needs, and it's a lot more of a burden than they may have realized.
And at first it was kind of, at times, frustrating. That uniform's got light years to go before it's ready for inspection. Yes, sir. Pick it up. Seeing them having such a hard time with certain things that I think now are relatively easy, like bracing up or keeping your head and eyes in the boat, I think more and more I got to realize that they are trying and there really isn't enough time in the day to do everything we make them do. I would honestly rather that they remember me as strict and fair. No, sir, no excuse, sir. Get going, Mr. Alvord. Don't let me catch you again. If they feel that they were trained well and I was a little bit hard on them, that's okay. The main thing is that they were trained, they were prepared, and that they knew what needed to go on.
Yes, sir.
Don't. Arms are not open, so unless you're double timing. Go! 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 Go!
Of course, we have to keep the tension on them. No matter how good they do, there's always going to be something wrong, something you can pick at.
No excuse, sir.
Attention to detail, gentlemen.
We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee.
Really, I'm surprised at the little things that actually get them going. You know, if they hear me yelling when they greet me, if I greet them back really loud, that seems to get them going.
Coast Guard, we are for you. Dedicated, yes, sir. Bulkhead. The perils of anticipation. Do not anticipate. Never anticipate.
I would say one of the most uplifting things is watching the platoon succeed at anything, even if it's just a softball game, because they band together as a team, they cheer each other on. When I see the platoon do well,
oh my God,
that just gives me that extra sense of pride.
Semper Paratus is our motto. Always ready. You are always prepared, X-Ray 1, no matter what.
During the academic year, leadership training also takes place in the classroom, where future officers wrestle with how to make ethical decisions in difficult situations.
If you're a pilot and you've been told to go take out a convoy, and you're going in on the convoy and there's some guys out there with white flags waving them, what do you do?
You gotta look at
you didn't see the white flag until you got up on them, and if they were outright trying to surrender, then you slack up.
You gotta look at the information you were given too. I mean, what's the convoy doing? You know, what's it made up of? You know, what kind of vehicles are there? You know, is it civilian vehicles or are they tanks and armored carriers?
Well, it'd be a pretty good tactic if any time an American airplane came to fire on a military convoy, all they had to do was wave some white flags and the pilot would just go, okay, and go back to base. I mean, obviously that couldn't work, but one of the things that confuses a young officer is he's given a situation he's never faced before, and he has to make a decision. How is he going to make that decision that's more rational than just flipping a coin.
I think that almost everybody who comes here with a little bit of an intuition about what's ethical, what's moral, why lying is wrong, why doing the right thing is good. And this class puts a little bit of foundation to that.
It's easier to ration out, you know. If what I'm killing is a monster or a really bad thing, then maybe that fits easier in my mind than if I'm killing just an 18-year-old soldier who was forced to enlist. You know, you can say, these were really bad people, and we know that, and by striking the convoy, they died, and so we don't feel bad about that.
But then you get into this principle of whether it's necessary. If it's just, well, it's not necessary, they're running away from the battle, basically we've attained our objective, at that point, can we go out and kill them just because they deserve to die? The idea of a class is for the students to be able to have time to think about the moral issues that they're going to face after they're commissioned.
At the end of the day, what we're constantly struggling, I think, in the academic world is to make sure we're challenging our students so that they see that the world is not a black and white, but is one that ultimately requires them to exercise sound judgment. But we know international law is often subject to interpretation. And today we did a case study, and the case study focused on what was a major crisis for the United States in 1994, which was the sudden decision by Fidel Castro to allow basically Cuban citizens to come to the United States if they chose to do so. So come on up here. How many miles? How many miles do they have to go, Michael? What's the objective here? And we built about an 8 by 12 rectangle, which would represent a small craft that maybe 4 to 8 people potentially would use to get to the United States. I mean, make yourselves at home. There we are. You're going to might as well get comfortable here, right? All the amenities. All right, let's talk a little bit here about what you're going to bring. This trip.
We'll probably have a sail, a makeshift sail.
Makeshift sail, all right. James, you got one? Very good. What else? What else are you going to have to bring?
Food and water.
Ah, I might need some of that here. How long is this trip going to be?
So we're going, what, 90 miles, sir?
Well, let's look at an issue here. How far do you really have to go? Anybody know? I want to give the cadets a sense for what that environment was about, not just from the American perspective, but also from the Cubans. Now, you're with your first child here now. Are you willing to join this whole foray?
I just don't want my child being raised in that environment, so it's much better for me to leave.
Grandma?
That's why I'm going with her, sir.
We're going to get a better life for our child in America, sir.
You're going to get a better life?
Yes, sir.
The goal is for them to develop the empathy for the folks that we in the Coast Guard basically have to go out and rescue under these circumstances. So they'll see them not just as illegal migrants, refugees, so forth. What they'll see basically as human beings who are fleeing a terrible set of circumstances in the hope of something better.
Hola, estamos a la Guardia de Costa. ¿Dónde vas? ¿A qué país? ¿Dónde vas?
Oh, I see, Guardia Costa. Nosotros somos de Havana. Nosotros queremos ir a Miami. Es muy importante que nosotros vamos a Miami. Necesitamos ir a Miami. Miami.
They're heading towards Miami. It's very important that they get to Miami. They're very excited about it.
Okay.
Ella va a tener un bebé. Ella es muy vieja.
So they're
ir a Miami.
Miami said they're very cool. He said he's got his wife is pregnant and he's got a grandmother on board also.
Primarily, when you're acting those particular scenes out, you get a chance to feel the emotion of what it means to determine the fate of another individual. How does policy affect people, real people, not just people who are numbers?
Miami, I don't understand.
How far into her pregnancy is your wife?
9 months. She's ready to give birth right now. Why not?
The president just came down with a policy that we can't take anyone in. However, for people who have who are in need of medical attention, we can bring them aboard and let our healthcare people watch for them and see exactly.
At the end of the day, our graduates are going to go out there and do the job of essentially carrying out U.S. policy. Continue to negotiate here.
The internet is revolutionizing business, from egghead.com to eBay, from E-Trade to Excite. The companies that know the internet best use Oracle for e-business. Do you?
rushing, hearts pounding, heavy breathing. It's almost as much fun as your first date. Royal Caribbean, like no vacation on Earth.
I am not an electrician. I am not a decorator. I am not a mover. I'm a home buyer. And I could use some help.
Introducing a new time-saving service exclusively for Coldwell Banker customers. Coldwell Banker Concierge is designed to help home buyers and sellers take care of the details of moving.
I am not a landscaper. I'm not a painter. And I'm going to be okay.
Call your local office and discover what real estate should be.
The biggest websites, from Amazon.com to Yahoo. And the biggest companies, from British Airways to General Motors, use Oracle for e-business. Do you?
Go behind the scenes into the FBI's ultra-secret crime lab as actual agents explain the techniques and tricks used to capture some of the most elusive killers ever. The FBI Files. Coming up next on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world. A woman, a mystery, a legend. Before you see the television miniseries, explore the truth behind the icon. The real Cleopatra, followed by Cleopatra's Palace in Search of a Legend. Wednesday, beginning at 9 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
The Academy's concern for character finds its most powerful expression in the Honor Code. Each Academy's Honor Code is slightly different, but they all have in common the declaration that cadets and midshipmen do not lie, cheat, or steal.
The Brigade Honor Staff, which is what I'm in command of, is responsible for discussing and upholding and administering the entire ethics program at the Naval Academy. Once a week we have honor training where we sit down, we discuss honor issues. It's like the core of why we're here, really.
To come to this school and get a $250,000 education handed to you by the American people, and then to start saying, screw that rule, screw this, I don't have to participate. I can't believe they're asking me to do this. I mean, that's a terrible thing to do. And you work so hard to get here, and then when you get here, say, I'm going to throw the rules out the door. When we go out into the fleet, our judgment isn't going to be based on how well do we know chemistry. Our judgment as officers is being based on our character.
Integrity is something that's non-negotiable, and you must be a person of integrity in order to lead. If your troops see you as a phony or someone that will cut corners or someone that will do something that's not fully forthright or honest, then they will become cynical and they won't follow you.
Those accused of breaking the Honor Code face the very real possibility of being expelled from the Academy. Their guilt or innocence is decided by a jury of their peers, known as an honor board.
Please be seated.
9 cadets chosen randomly from the Corps will sit in judgment of that cadet which is under investigation and decide whether or not that they violated the Honor Code.
You stated in your statement that you did not copy Cadet Tiger's work in any form. Is that correct?
That's correct.
How do you explain the similarities between your introduction section and your theory section to that of Cadet Tiger's?
We were working from the exact same cut sheet.
After questioning, the 9 voting members begin their deliberation.
In order for us to find him on this allegation of cheating, we have to say, is it more likely that he copied this project from his roommate than that he did it himself?
You're on an emotional roller coaster ride. It is a very tough decision, even tougher when it's someone that you've seen walking around in and out of the same classrooms for 3.5 years.
And you think about it, basically what we're saying is from now on, anybody that turns in a report that has the same font, the same format, or has different spacing, then they must have had the same as someone else.
No, but what he's saying, and word for word, the whole paper's identical.
But it's not word for word.
The deliberation can last all day, but eventually, a decision is reached.
It has been found by at least 6 of the 9 voting members that you, the cadet respondent, did, on or about 24 April 1998, violate the Cadet Honor Code by cheating.
The cadet originally involved in this case was one of 4 expelled that year from West Point for violating the Honor Code. Character training also means learning to treat people with respect and dignity, as exemplified by West Point's Respect for Others program.
Our main goal for this year was to build a respectful and good, healthy command climate. The Respect for Others program teaches cadets how to interact with different people of different origins, different ethnicity, also different gender and different race. It doesn't matter what kind of baggage you bring with you. When you come to the academy and all the experiences you've had in your life, you're going to have to interact and work with everyone that's around you.
You know, if I'm going up for a leadership position, I have great credentials, I've been busting my butt the whole time. And if there's someone else, like, you know, in some regards like a female or, you know, minority, and they get the position just because of that, it's going to cause friction.
But I guess a lot of people pointed that out first semester, like, oh, look at all the female first sergeants. And I know
they have to understand that the American Army achieves victory on the battlefield because of mutual respect between leaders and led.
For XO, like, I would hear people say stuff about, oh, she got it, you know, because she's a female, she's black. I mean, I don't know. That was my personal feeling that I think she would have got it regardless. I think she would have been...
In today's professional Army, we are all volunteers. We're all there because we want to be there. It requires that you treat people with dignity and respect.
Though it is not a requirement, many cadets and midshipmen put their values into practice through service to their local communities.
I would estimate that 90% of cadets do community service in one way or another. The Genesis Club is an organization at the Academy. We help high school students that are just average high school students get into college and realize that they can make a difference, and all it takes is hard work.
All right, Art. Good, Art. Way to go. Way to go, Art.
Today we have a group of inner city youth from New York City that have come up, and a bunch of cadets have volunteered to take them through a number of different obstacles.
You can do it. There you go. There you go. You got it.
You know, the opportunity to do these kinds of things rarely come at a very convenient time, and for cadets to look past their own needs and wants and desires and to be able to do things for other people, I think that's where the value of this program is, to teach them to be selfless with their time and their resources and their talents.
All right.
And then you take about an inch and you make another twist.
At Navy, a group that calls itself the Goofballs have devised their own unique way of contributing.
Only chance I get to goof around and not get in trouble for it.
Real going comes out.
No, the reason why I like doing it is just, I think it's just an awesome thing that, I mean, we're in this military institution, and we still get a chance to kind of be little kids and go around and help other little kids.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
Red? We just happen to have a red balloon right here. It's a little Mickey Mouse. Look at that mouse.
As if their day weren't full enough already, the academies also have a sports requirement. For at least 2 hours every afternoon, everyone must participate in some form of athletic competition, either as part of a club, intramural, or intercollegiate team.
The emphasis on physical development, physical excellence, stems from this wonderful quotation that was authored by a predecessor of mine, Douglas MacArthur. And the quotation simply says, "Upon the fields of friendly strife are sown the seeds that on other fields, on other days, will bear the fruits of victory." MacArthur understood, as I think all of us understand, that the notion of athletic competition brings out character and brings out the will to win.
It was my second class while I was a plebe who mentioned to me if I ever thought about becoming a powerlifter. And at the time when she said this to me, I thought she was crazy. I was like, why in the world would she be asking me if I wanted to be a powerlifter? I went to nationals that first year and I placed at nationals, and it was quite an accomplishment. So I learned that you can do more than you think you can do. Every day, I never cease to amaze myself with the things that I can do.
The first time I ever stepped into a sailboat, it capsized on me, and I was swimming in the Thames River for 20 minutes. Jen's beating us. Sailing is one of those sports that does teach you teamwork. We all have been doing well, and it is satisfying to see that all our practicing is paying off.
All right. Like everywhere else, sports at the academies are for rallying the common spirit. And nowhere is that more evident than at a football game. for pure fever pitch, nothing quite beats the annual Army-Navy game.
Mitsubishi Montero Sport with four-wheel drive. Now available with 0.9% APR financing for 48 months.
Everybody in the family loves watching the kids grow up, and they do it through pictures.
Grandma and Grandpa.
And they love getting pictures of the girls.
Baby and Papa Jack.
Pictures like this when we're having fun together.
Uncle Chase and Uncle Bob.
Probably the best pictures of Alex are the ones with food on her face.
Yeah.
Uncle Matt.
We take the film to Walmart because we're in there, you know, every week anyway.
And Aunt Lisa.
We just drop our film off and we go shopping, and it's just very convenient.
Bring the stories of your life to Walmart Film Developing.
It's just important for the family to be able to see the girls grow up.
Anne Klein Eyewear by Luxottica. What do you want people to see?
I want you to see fearlessness.
The unexpected.
I want you to see you don't need words to make a statement.
Ask for the latest Anne Klein styles by Luxottica.
Now just stay still. Don't move. Okay, now, does it hurt when I do this?
Oh!
Okay, possible torn meniscus. Is there any pain when I do this? All right. You've dislocated your patella. I'm gonna have to set it. Hang on.
Okay. You are an orthopedic surgeon.
No, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
At Uniroyal, in order to make a point about our nail guard tires, we added a few to our test track. Nail guard tires, designed to seal 90% of tread punctures, instantly and permanently. Only from Uniroyal.
Tomorrow, from big dolls to weapons and animals, this agency sets forth over 400 standards and laws. Through surveillance and science, they work to keep smugglers out. Going inside U.S. Customs on the inside. Tomorrow on the Discovery Channel. Forecasting them can be deadly. Working to control what some call white death. Just another reminder of our ever-changing, raging planet. Taking on the avalanche. Next Sunday at 8 Eastern and Pacific on Discovery Sunday.
Everywhere you need us to be. From your child's school to your family's safety. From things that hit your checkbook to people who touch your heart. Channel 7 Eyewitness News. We're your ears, your eyes, your voice. When you need it most, the one to watch. This is Eyewitness News.
Beneath their military uniforms and discipline, there is also a place for individuality. Each year, cadets in West Point's social science class perform an unusual ritual for turning in their final paper, called the Soch Run.
Ironically, the U.S. military prizes individualism. We prize individual initiative in our junior and senior leaders. It's a unique aspect of American culture and society to take the young man or woman that has a finely developed sense of individuality and to allow that individualism to reflect itself.
For an institution that has no music, no drama, no art department, you would be amazed at the talent of our people.
The gospel choir has been a huge part of my life the entire 4 years that I've been here. I love to sing. I'm not the best singer in the world by any stretch of the imagination. And I think song is a wonderful way to express yourself, to express what's in your heart, what's in your mind, and what you're feeling.
Individuality finds expression in dozens of extracurricular activities, ranging from the gospel choir to the Wings of Blue.
And I've done a lot of activities, from snow skiing, water skiing, everything that you can do I've done, and nothing beats skydiving. Even now, I've done it, 550 times, and I like to think I'm good at it, but you can still feel your heart race. It goes up to about 200 beats per minute. It means nothing but pure fun.
You could have, like, junky text in here.
For many, succeeding at an academy is a matter of finding a niche where their individual talents can shine.
So that's like, how many pages did you have? I'm known throughout the academy as like the resident artist. I was asked to be a yearbook editor. What do you think about something like this? Do we want to... how big? It's such a complex project, and there's so many different areas. There's the budget, there's managing a staff, keeping everybody from killing each other sometimes during deadlines. You don't have to have the... When we get a deadline and everybody's met it, we can just sit back and relax and think, we really got this accomplished and we did it together as a team, and that makes me proud.
The task of training to become an officer even pervades a cadet's social life.
We actually met down here at the airfield. We were both selected to be instructor pilots for soaring, and we were friends for quite a few months, I think, before we ever actually started dating.
Like everything else at an academy, dating a fellow cadet must be done with a regard for professionalism.
And we'd like to kind of present, I think, a professional kind of relationship. So we don't, even if we're in civilian clothes on the way out the door, we don't normally hold hands or link arms or anything like that.
In uniform, anywhere on the yard, you can't hug, you can't kiss, you can't do anything. We can't even hold hands. I can escort, which means I can have her arm like this, but that looks so ridiculous because it's so out of place here in the yard that it's not really done.
It's a professional environment. We're here to become military officers, and it's difficult to have a relationship in an environment like that, but that's the way it needs to be, because that's why we're here.
Upperclassmen are allowed liberty certain evenings during the week, but even when they leave the academy, they must dress and behave as professionals.
Where are you heading this weekend, Cuz?
Well,
I can walk out in town, get something to eat, or just walk around just for the sake of leaving. It's sometimes nice just to get away.
But for the majority, evening is spent in their rooms doing homework and preparing themselves for another day.
To go here, you really have to want to go here. There's so many things about this place that are 100% different than the civilian life. But I love it. I mean, I know it sounds funny for people to say that, but I want to be someone that can go through life and get the most out of it.
A little drop of water. What could it do to your car's finish? Plenty. Unless you use Rain-X Ultra Wax. With the same super water-repelling action you get in Rain-X for windshields, it's easy to use. It makes water bead right up and roll right off, so it can't magnify the sun's harmful UV rays or form those nasty water spots. So use new Rain-X Ultra Wax. Nothing sticks but the shine. Coming only to theaters June 18.
Was it alone?
Yes.
Are you sure?
There are no others.
Then you may keep him.
Walt
Disney Pictures proudly presents an all-new motion picture event. Tarzan, rated G.
Craig, I don't know.
Fair enough. Maybe this'll help. As you can see, I love you more than anything in the world. Note the dramatic increase in the past 7 months. This shows how much we have in common. My 10-year gross earnings potential. A composite of what our kids might look like.
I like what you've done here, Craig.
Sometimes it's not just what you say, but how you say it. Kinko's. Express yourself.
A lot of people think the best way to deal with allergies is to take a prescription, a common misconception. You see, the leading allergy prescription only relieves these symptoms, but Tylenol Allergy Sinus relieves all these. Tylenol Allergy Sinus. Take comfort in our strength.
Go behind the scenes into the FBI's ultra-secret crime lab as actual agents explain the techniques and tricks used to capture some of the most elusive killers ever. The FBI Files. Coming up next on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world. Every weeknight, you're going on the inside, and nobody takes you there like the Discovery Channel. Tomorrow, they're on the hunt for big-time contraband.
Smugglers have gotten real innovative the past few years.
Find out how they track it down, and you won't believe what they find.
It took us 3 days to count all of the money.
A world premiere episode on the inside of U.S. Customs. Tomorrow at 8 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world. Forecasting them can be deadly. Working to control what some call white death. Just another reminder of our ever-changing, raging planet, taking on the avalanche. Next Sunday at 8 Eastern and Pacific on Discovery Sunday.
4 years culminates on a single day in May. Graduation. Of all those who entered, 70% have made it to the end. This day is for them.
You really know what a military graduation is until you've seen it. It's an amazing day.
Graduation is going to be an emotional thing. They're going to have to prop me up because I'm going to be crying.
Don't think I'm going to be thinking too much about anything during graduation. I'm going to be in execution mode.
I have approximately 40 people coming for graduation. My mother is coming, my dad, my cousin, his boyfriend.
Well, 2 people have to be there. My fiancée, Michelle, and my mom, because since I got here, I've dreamed about them pinning that stuff on.
I couldn't have made it through without my sister's emails and brother's emails, my parents' phone calls in the middle of the night, and just knowing that I have a family to talk to.
I know it has been hard for them to listen to me call and want to come home and say, come on, Leanne, you can do it. You only have 60 days left to go until you come home for Christmas.
Robert Michael Green.
I know that in 30 years I'll have totally lost my common sense and will wish I were still here.
I think there'll be a lot of being proud of, a rush and an excitement like I've never felt before, but also reflection on understanding that it wasn't me that's made it through these 4 years, that if, without God holding me and helping me and even getting me to this point to begin with, that there's no way I could stand there on that day.
Dino William DeBacco. Michael James DeVille.
I can say that this is the best thing that I ever could have done with the last 4 years of my life.
This place rips you down to your core, to nothing. It rips you down that bad and then says, build yourself and let us help build you, let us shape you.
I feel a sense of accomplishment and pride to know that I actually made it and that I'm sure there were a lot of people who thought that I wouldn't make it, but I proved them wrong.
From the 3rd Company.
I was raised in a pretty liberal household. My parents were hippies, and the idea of having their little daughter go away to West Point, a military school, was a foreign idea to them. They're ecstatic for the fact that I made it through. A lot of people always ask, how's your son? And they're like, well, he's fine at Fort Bragg, but my daughter's at West Point.
F. Mulherry. Christopher S. Hayes. Jonathan A. Newsom. Timothy.
I still would never change my mind about coming here. I would do it again. It was something that wasn't easy, but I was able to get it done.
Every cadet here understands the hardships that every other cadet must undergo, and because of that, there's a bonding experience that takes place. I think that friendships are tighter because of it. I think that people develop a deeper relationship because of it.
Overall #1 graduate, Cadet First Captain and Brigade Commander, W. Patrick Connelly.
Not only do we produce leaders for our Air Force, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, we produce leaders for America. Many of our graduates move on to lead in business, religion, medical profession, lawyers, all the whole realm of society.
After receiving their diplomas, every graduate will take an oath of office, marking the beginning of their service as an officer in the U.S. Armed Forces.
I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
And faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you're about to enter.
So help you God.
Class of 1998, you are dismissed!
Tomorrow, they enforce over 400 standards and laws each year, from weapons and drugs to toys, with